कर कमल वारे नाखाम अद्भुत सिंगाम ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनो भिंगा केशवधिता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे अब कर गोविंदा ये समझता जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 ओ निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल सर्वविघ्न सिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय नाम हरिदास ठाकुर ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. So there will be a Bhagavad Gita class over here in Temple Hall. So anybody wants to listen can be seated here. अभी यहाँ पे अंग्रेजी में भगवत गीता के ऊपर प्रवचन होगा, तो जिस किसी को यहाँ पे श्रवण करना है आप यहाँ पे बैठ सकते हैं. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 22nd verse. Please try to recite after me. Yadra labha santusto, Yadra labha santusto, Dvandvatito vimatsaraha, Dvandvatito vimatsaraha, Samaha siddho asiddho cha, Samaha siddho asiddho cha, Kritvapi na nibadhyate, Kritvapi na nibadhyate. So this is the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita entitled Transcendental Knowledge. We are reading verse number 22. Word for word meaning. Yadrachya, out of its own accord. Labh, with gain. Santushtaha, satisfied. Dvandva, duality. Atitaha, surpassed. Vimatsaraha, free from envy. Samaha, steady. Siddho, in success. Asiddho, in failure. Cha, also. Kritva, doing. Api, although. Na, never. Nibadyate, becomes affected. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. He who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Now we are reading purport. A Krishna conscious person
does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as his power and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by its own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for a service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Rundavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'd like to welcome everyone for today evening, this weekly Bhagavad Gita session. Every week in the evening, Sunday evening, we have this session on Bhagavad Gita. So this is one of the important verse of Bhagavad Gita, which teaches us how we can live a satisfied life, right? Nowadays, because of social media, people are aware of what's happening all over the world. Today, one boy met me. He was into such anxiety. Prabhu, what is happening there in Bangladesh? Prabhu, what is happening there in Israel? What is happening there in USA? He was so much concerned about what's happening all over. But I said, Prabhu, I am concerned about you. What is happening with you? Are you able to understand there's something wrong happening with you currently? So many times we get so much of overpowered by what's happening all over the world, forget to work on what's happening within us or around us. So there is a circle of influence and there is a circle of control, right? So there is something which influences us, right? What's happening all over the world influences us. But there is something which we can control, we can act on. So many times when we get influenced by what's happening all over the world, we forget to work on what we can do best. And that's where the problem comes. So everyone gets overpowered by what is happening in the world. So many problems there. But if everyone start working on what they can do the best, then I think world can be a different place. There can be a lot of positive changes happening around. Unfortunately, in the news today, most of the news are negative only. Because positive news, no one buys. There are no takers for the news which are not something, आज की ताजा खबर. ताजा खबर मतलब there has to be some negativity. The building collapsed, earthquake, and some people died, right? There is some shooting there. So all these news have top front page. But generally, if there is something good happened, 10,000 people were fed in Kumbh Mela, this comes in some corner of the newspaper because that doesn't attract people's attention so much. That's an unfortunate situation. So this verse is, and this series of verses, starting from verse number 19. So how many of you were there in the last session, which happened in last week? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Few of you, okay, 4, 5 of you were there, right? And it's almost a week now. So I think you must have forgotten many of those discussions. So what I will do is, the section which we are reading now, from 19 verse, that section I will take. The qualities of the person who is on the path of liberation, who is the very focused, that is mentioned here, right? So in this series of verses, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, because Arjuna is also in a situation where he is completely overcome by attachment to his family members, right? Dvandva matlab kya? What is dvandva? Dvandva is dualities, happiness, distress, labha, there is a gain or there is a losses, right? Happiness, misery. So most of us are sometime in happiness, sometime misery. And there is not a situation where we are only happy. After some time, misery will also come. But the person who is on the path of Krishna, who is in Krishna consciousness, will not get affected when there is lot of happiness, and will not get affected when there is misery. When I was studying in my undergraduation, that time the result came. Just two days before results. And the college where I was studying, the first 3 toppers were from the same college in the Maharashtra, right? So the result came that one person's father got to know that his son is one of the topper. His son is topper. So his father became so much overcome by the happiness that he got heart attack and he died. I am not making up the true story here, it's true story. And he died of the heart attack because he was so happy. And then after 1 or 2 days, when the actual result came, we found out that he was not the topper, he was maybe some 10th or 15th rank. So sometimes to digest the suffering is easy, but to digest the happiness is very difficult. Right? So Krishna is telling, be composed in both happiness and distress. Right? So verse number 19, this is a series of verses. So wonderfully Krishna is mentioning here. So many people say, Gita, one video came recently, you must have seen that. One friend is asking another friend, अरे तू गीता पढ़ रहा है? तू बीमार है क्या? क्या नहीं, बीमार तो नहीं, अच्छा हो तो तू गीता पढ़ रहा है, गीता पढ़ रहा है. तो गीता तो बुढ़ापे में पढ़ी जाती है. So this book is supposed to be read in old age, like that he was telling. Are you sick? So now this person, he thinks, suppose I am reading Gita in the old age, and Krishna cared, and I am in the place of Parth, Arjun, and Krishna tells me, Parth, lift the bow and start the fight. So first of all, to hear that will take 2-3. Krishna will have to repeat it for 2-3 times. And when actually he will try to lift the bow, even lifting bow is also not possible in the old age. Your hands and your legs and entire bodily parts are completely, suffering with the old age. Can't do anything substantial. So spiritual knowledge is meant for young people. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, your temples are filled with young people. Why young people are coming to your temple? Srila Prabhupada said, why these young people are going to colleges and schools? He said, yeah, that's the place, that's the time when they should learn. So Srila Prabhupada said, spiritual science is the topmost science, is the topmost education, and that has to be learned in the young age only. Right? So this is the time when spirituality, and I see here, most of you are quite young, right? So it is the right place, and you have taken the right decision on the Sunday evening, where you could have done so many other things outside. But you you made that choice of coming here and spending your time with beautiful darshan of Shri Radha Gopinath ji, and having this wonderful kirtan here and discussion on Bhagavad Gita. Nothing can be better than this. So, 19th verse, Krishna says, one is understood to be in full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He said, by suggests to be worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned by the fire of perfect knowledge. So that person who is in perfect knowledge and who doesn't have any desire for sense gratification, he doesn't have any reactions. Like anything you do, there is a equal and opposite reaction. That's one of the law. But a person, when he works on behalf of Supreme Lord, there are no desires. When he doesn't have any own desires for his own sense gratification. Then Krishna further says, Tyaktva karma phalam sangam nitya trupto nirashrayaha, abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruity actions. He is satisfied, independent, not being affected by the world around. Actually, he doesn't get affected. He doesn't perform. Though he work, but he doesn't work, like that Krishna says. Although engage in all kinds of undertakings. And then further Krishna says, verse number 21st. Very nice verse. Nirashir yada chittatma tyaktva sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan apnoti kilbisham. Krishna is telling, such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. Mind and intelligence perfectly controlled. This is the biggest problem nowadays. People's minds are completely restless. And intelligence is having no food. What is the food for intelligence? Right? Knowledge. Reading books or or hearing from the authorized sources. That's the knowledge. But what is the source of knowledge nowadays? WhatsApp Puran, Instagram. So anyone wants to write something, anyone wants to speak something about Gita or any other thing, he just makes his own video. As soon as it comes on YouTube or Instagram, as if people take it as if it is the authority, right? That is the source of knowledge. What is the source of Ramayana and Mahabharata nowadays is the serials which we have seen, right? But none of the people have time to go through this Vedic wisdom. People don't have time. So when we were distributing books yesterday, one person said, "Sir, time nahi mere paas." Are you sure you don't have time? I said, just pause for a minute and see from the morning what did you do. How many times you scroll through your mobile? How many times you scroll to WhatsApp and so many things? I'm not saying it's wrong. I said, and you find out how much content was really useful from that. Then he said, actually, so much of time I spent just scrolling through small videos, and sometimes it's end up with 2-3 hours and 4 hours, right? So therefore there is no food for the intelligence. And the food for intelligence is Vedic wisdom. When you spend some time with these books, see both the sides of Srila Prabhupada, there are Bhagavad Gitas in the different languages. There is Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. All these books Srila Prabhupada wrote, staying awake whole night, right? Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Gaur Nithai ki jai. Shri Gopal ji ki jai. So all these books are for us, right? And this is the month of Gita Jayanti, when Krishna spoke this knowledge to Arjun. And outside you are seeing the yajna is happening. That is Gita Yajna, right? On the occasion of Gita Jayanti this month. So this is the knowledge which is food for soul, food for intelligence. When we spend some time of your day, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it is, you will see a lot of difference in the choices which you will make in your life, right? Where your intelligence is strong, your mind can be controlled. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 6th verse, Krishna says, a person whose mind is controlled is his best of the friend. A person whose mind is not controlled, his mind is worst of enemy. The choice is ours. Whether we want to make our mind our best friend or worst enemy, choice is ours. What we want to feed our mind with. And then now we are coming to verse number 22, where Krishna is telling, he who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord, yadrachaya. Matlab, by its own accord, by the daiva, whatever it comes, that one should be satisfied with. Like if you see around, some people are born with silver spoon, right? They never have to work in their life. My father have earned so much in their life. So they have to just maintain what father has earned. But some people, they are born in the very poor family. And they have to struggle so much to create their livelihood, right? But if you start comparing with others, that he has so much, he has cleared this CET exam, or he has cleared this CAT exam, and he has become this, and he has become a very famous lawyer, then you will be most miserable person in your life. So Krishna is telling, be satisfied with whatever comes of its own accord to in your life. This is very much required. So there was a time in my this college days, from the early days I am skinny like this. But then I would see some of my friends having such a nice body, and they were wearing some sleeveless t-shirts and having and it would look very good. So I thought maybe I should also try this. And I also tried to get some t-shirts like that and wanted to imitate. But then later I understood I am looking more miserable than what I was. And then I realized actually I have something else gifted by the Lord. Let me utilize that in the Lord's service and I will be more happy. So when you understand something uniqueness which Lord has given you and you try to live by that, then you can contribute better to the society and you yourself will be happy in your life. That's very much required. So somehow or other, because of social media, people are comparing. Everyone wants to have their Instagram account, having millions of followers and all this. But not everyone can get that fame. One person created a video, one person was singing, and another person recorded it and put it on his Instagram, and there was millions of followers, millions of people liked it. Another was equally skilled musician. He thought, Arey, he got so many likes for his video. He also recorded video and put it on his YouTube. But there were no takers. Hardly there were any likes. So he became miserable and every day he was saying, Arey, aaj bhi kuch like nahi hue. No more views, no more views. Now this person never thought of having so many views. But he just did it because he thought, let me just share with the world. Now this person wanted to be what other is, and then he became more miserable. So sometime by Daiva you get some success. That should not make us puffed up, and that should not make us, and if not, then we should not become miserable also. That's what Krishna is telling here. And one should not become envy. Nirmatsara. Envious of others. Actually, today morning, our His Grace Braj Bihari Prabhu gave a class. Amazing class. He said, greatest happiness in this world is when we appreciate others' success. He was telling example of Srila Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. That Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur could chant 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily. That means 18 to 20 hours daily chanting the names of the Lord. सोचो 20 घंटा 18 से 20 घंटा. So that much he used to chant. And he was so happy because he appreciated Sanatan Goswami, special mercy Sanatan Goswami received from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was not envious. Why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, embracing Sanatan Goswami? Right? So that appreciation gave him great happiness. So we become happy when we appreciate others' success. So here one story comes in my mind, which is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam both are different books. So many people don't know, that's why I keep repeating it. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjun. And Srimad Bhagavatam is conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Right? And then later on, same discussion happened between Sutta Goswami and sages of Naimisharanya. That was mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita have 700 verses. How many? 18 chapters, 700 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam is having 18,000 verses. There are 44 books like this. Right? Srimad Bhagavatam. This is like an encyclopedia of spiritual knowledge. Tukaram Maharaj, one of the saint of Maharashtra, he says, Gita Bhagavata Kariti Shavana Akhand Chintan Vitobaj. So he didn't ask us to read entire Vedic wisdom. सारे वेदों को पढ़ने जाएंगे तो पूरा जीवन कब पड़ेगा, right? 1 crore verses or maybe more, I don't know exact number, right? It's not possible. Even if you go to the end of the Vedic literatures, it will not make sense. What did I read and how to bring it on practice? So therefore, for us in this age of Kali Yuga, only 2 books, mainly 2 books. That is Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are mentioned. And obviously the entire life story of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? So in this book, in 11th canto, there are 12 cantos. In the 11th canto, Lord Krishna himself is speaking to Uddhava. So this is Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna and Krishna, they are discussing. There is another Gita called Uddhav Gita, which is discussion between Uddhavji and Krishna. That is just like Gita but more detail, right? In that, Krishna is giving example of Avanti Brahman. Very nice story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna personally speaking this. So I will just try to recite some of the verses and pick something from this. Is everyone with me? So very beautiful story of Avanti Brahman. Just like in this world, people become so much attached to their wealth. So this Brahmana, he was very wealthy. But he was, like we say, kanjus, makhichus. He was of that category. He was so much miser that he would himself not enjoy the wealth he has earned. He would not allow his family member also to enjoy. So his family members became frustrated with him, right? They gave up all attachment to this person. What kind of person is this? Even don't go to some holy places or some retreats. And money is, every day he would count his cash. What is the today's bank balance? Right? Some people are there like that. They keep checking their stock or stock value. But they themselves, they don't use anything for their own purpose. What to speak of their own purpose? No spiritual purpose. If someone comes to beg, they don't have anything. They don't give for any spiritual cause. They don't give for any social cause. So this was this person, Avanti Brahman. So then what happened? Family members become fed up with him, and then they started stealing from him. The governments, they stole, thieves stole from him, and then finally he became, everything was taken away from this Brahmana. He became miserable. And when that hard earned money is stolen by someone, it's so painful. Right? Suppose, what about money? Even mobile, if someone steals, people lose their sleep. Right? One person, he was sleeping and he got up from the sleep. First thing he was searching, where is the mobile? The mobile was kept aside. He became restless. Where is the mobile? Where is mobile? He was CCTV and everything, but mobile was there on one side. Right? As if life is taken away. So this person became really miserable. And then Bhagavatam says, he began to feel unbearable anxiety, right? Unbearable. You can't bear. And that is the time suddenly a thought came in his mind. Some revelation came. Having lost all his wealth, taseva dhyayato dirgham nasta raya tapasvinaha. He lost all his wealth. He felt great pain and lamentation. His throat choked up with the tears, and he meditated for a long time on his fortune. And then suddenly a renunciation came. So sometime in our life, to come to take the spiritual knowledge seriously, we need to go through certain painful situation. So इसके लिए कहते हैं ना कि like sometime if you accept spiritual life directly, you don't have to suffer. But if you are not ready, then Lord gives you such a situation in your life when there is a lot of misery, and then you think, oh my Lord, let me go there and find out the questions and answers to my questions. Right? That was the situation with Avanti Brahman. And suddenly, in that miserable situation, when his entire wealth was lost, his family members kicked him out of the home, and that time a revelation came in his heart. And this is amazing. What revelation he gets after going through that trouble situation. He spoke to himself, this Brahmana, he says, Hare Krishna. Is there someone there? You can just reduce the voice volume. Little. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. So now he says here to himself, he is there thinking about himself. He's telling, oh, what a great misfortune. I have simply tormented myself uselessly, struggling so hard for money that was not even intended for the religious cause. Right? I have uselessly spent my time for earning money. Our Gaur Gopalpu says, some people, they are so poor, so poor, so poor that they have, what they have is only money and nothing else. So this was the situation of this Brahmana. Then he says, generally the wealth of misers never allows them any happiness. In this life, it causes their self-torment, and when they die, it sends them to hell. So when someone is so miser, to whatever money he earns, that money simply pollutes his consciousness this world. Here also he is miserable. In the next life, he is going to go to hell. Right? Now that's what realization suddenly got. So sometimes some realizations comes without even our efforts when we go through difficult situations in our life. You must have realized this, experienced this. Like when you have really tough times, that time suddenly some renunciation comes. So here he says, in earning, attainment, increase, protection, expense, all men experience great labor, fear and anxiety and delusion. And then he says, one desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from this undesirable wealth. So now this is his realization after going through that tough times. He says, a person who really want to make best of his human life should not waste his life for miserly running behind the money. But that doesn't mean that from tomorrow you stop going for your job and just simply, chant Hare Krishna. No, that's not. But when money is there, then that should be utilized for some good cause. It should not be simply lingering in your bank account. So that was his realization. And then he says, for even small amount of money, now this is today's truth. This Bhagavatam was spoken 5,000 years back, and here he is telling, even man's brother, wife, parents, and friends united with him in love will immediately break off their affectionate relationships and become enemies over single coin. Today I was talking to one of my friend. He was having some difficulty in his family. He said, in every day in the courts, there are 60 divorce cases. In the court where he is struggling with his own case. So here it is said in Bhagavatam, 5,000 years back, it was mentioned. Even for a little money, there can be quarrels between the family member, even to the point of murder, right? And this realization, this person got after he went through all that. And then finally he says, those who obtain human life, labdhva janma mara prarthyam manushya tadvijagratam tadanadritya swartham grananti yanti ashubham gatim. This was his final realization. What he's saying? Those who obtain human life, which is Amara Parthyam. Amara Parthyam matlab one that which is prayed by the Amar. Amar matlab Devtas. Those who are staying in the heavenly planets. Even Devtas are also desiring this human form. To those who get the human form, which is prayed even by the demigods, and in that human birth becomes situated in the first class Brahmana family. Getting human birth, and then that too in Brahmana family, right? Now, who is a Brahmana? This is another question. Is it that one who born in the Brahmana family is Brahman? Krishna says in Gita, not simply taking birth, one cannot become Brahmana, but it's by his actions. Chaturvida bhajante mam, what is that? Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasya. So one becomes Brahmana by his karma and by his qualities, right? So after getting human birth, then becoming a Brahmana, in that human birth, this is very extremely rare. If they disregard this important opportunity, they are certainly killing their own self-interest. So after getting human birth, which all of us are having right now, it's such a rare opportunity. And in that also, having desire to know the spiritual purpose, all of you have come to temple. That itself shows that you have some inclination to nourish your spiritual longing, to understand the purpose of life. With these two things in place, if someone doesn't really dive deep to know the spiritual purpose, he is simply killing his own soul, or he is killing his own self-interest, and he is most unfortunate. Ashubham gatim. This is the most unfortunate end. So this is the realization of this Brahmana. Now after all this realization, what this Brahmana does? He becomes completely detached now. So this why I am speaking this? Santushta and Dvandva Atita. Becoming free from the desire for happiness or distress. Whatever comes by its own account, one is happy. Now this Brahmana got this realization, and now he has accepted the robe of sannyasi. Living very simple mendicant life, begging outside. And then what happens to him is very special, and how he reacts to that. When this Brahmana takes to the mendicant life, other people have seen him, that how he was miser, how you are kanjus, makki chus, whatever it is. These people, they were saying, oh, see this Brahmana. Few years back, he was so much attached to his money, and now he is moving around just like a sannyasi, right? Some people were throwing stone on him, so Bhagavatam says, right? So even after you become self-realized, how people will respond, you can't, you don't know, right? So Krishna then mentions this story. Yeah. Yes. So this Brahmana, then he got something in his begging, while he was begging. So when he was sitting on the bank of river about to partake the food that he had collected by begging, some people would come, and they would come and pass urine on it. They would dare to spit on his head. They would throw stones on him. Although he had taken vows of silence, they would try to make him speak. And if he did not speak, they would beat him with the sticks. Others would chastise him, saying, this man is just a thief. Others would bind him with the rope and shouting, tie him, tie him. Just imagine, if someone is doing all this to you, what will happen? Will we still remain cool? So this Brahmana, then later on became mendicant and sannyasi, all this was happening to him. They would criticize and insult him, saying, this man is just hypocrite and cheat. He makes a business of religion simply because he lost all his wealth and his family threw him out. Some were ridiculing him by saying, just see this greatly powerful sage. Now he was thin. They would say, see how powerful he is, how well built he is. Like that, they would make a mockery of him, right? So like that, even after becoming a saintly person, you can't get rid of the karma which you had, right? So Lord will really make you purified from within. But with all this, now initially he lost all his fame, all his wealth, then he reacted in a certain way. Now he became mendicant and he wanted to mind his own business, but still people will not let him do that. That time, how did he respond to it? That makes him a self-realized soul, right? That's where we are coming to end of our discussion of this story, right? How does he respond to it? He says, yeah. Here he says, Evam sabhotikam dukkham devikam dehikam chayat bhoktavyatmano distam praptam abhyudyata. The Brahmana was telling, Brahmana says, he understood that all his sufferings from other living beings, from the higher forces of nature and from his own body was unavoidable, being allotted to him by the providence, by the Lord. Like sometime we had this discussion. After taking to spiritual life, will all your karmas nullify? Right? So when you take up the shelter of the Supreme Lord, like Gita Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma sucha. There is one temple in south, Kanchipuram. The Varadraj, beautiful deities are there standing. Varadraji has this hand like this, and it is written here, Ma Sucha. Don't worry. Mai Huna. There was one movie, Mai Huna. But only Lord can say this, that I am there, don't worry. I will take care of all your needs. So here, Krishna takes all your karmas with him once you take up shelter of him, and then he gives those karmas in installment as and when it is required for your purification. And when you get purified completely, then Lord takes all those karmas and throw them into the dustbin. Right? So when you take shelter of the Lord, Yamraj doesn't have any role to play. Maya doesn't have any role to play in your life. Because now Krishna himself is taking charge of your life. Right? So giving the reins of your chariot in Krishna's hand, that is called complete Sharanagati. And this is the final verse where that was the realization he gets. He doesn't blame. These people are cause of my suffering. My family members are cause of my suffering. The thieves who have stolen all my wealth are cause of my suffering. No. What he says, who is cause of my suffering? Generally, we try to give blame to so many others. But he says, Duja Vacha. So this is called Bhikshu Gita. There are so many Gita in Bhagavatam. So one of that is Bhikshu Gita, Uddhav Gita, Bhikshu Gita, Gopi Gita. So this is a Bhikshu Gita. So what he says, see, those who can recite after me, please try. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetu. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetu. Na devata griha karma kala. Na devatatma griha karma kala. Manah param karanam amananti. Sansara chakram parivartyatedyat. This is verse number 42. 11 Canto 23rd chapter verse number 42. 11, 23, 42. Beautiful verse. Na ayam jano. Na ayam jano. These people are not cause of my suffering. Me sukha dukkha hetu. Whatever happiness or miseries I am going through, these people are not cause. Okay, then who are the cause? Na devata, nor the demigods. It's not that demigods are doing something. Devata, some people they say that devatas are doing something in my life. No, they are also not cause. So then who? Atma. Atma means my body. Nor my body is cause of my suffering. Achha? Because some people they say, I got such kind of body, what to do? Because of that I am suffering. No, my body is also not cause. Who is the cause then? Graha. So then some people, my grahas are not proper. Right? So let me change my graha. He said, graha is also not cause. Not my karma are cause. Not kala. Some people they say, टाइम बराबर नहीं है, समय हमारा आएगा तो सब दिखा देंगे. तो काल इज ऑल्सो नॉट द कॉज ऑफ माई सफरिंग. हु इज द कॉज? मन परम कारण मामनंती. माई माइंड इज द मेन कॉज ऑफ माई सफरिंग. संसार चक्रम परिवर्ततेद्यत. Because of my mind I am suffering continuously in this birth and old age, disease and death, this cycle of death and birth. I am suffering here. If I can control my mind and if I can rectify my contaminated mind, immediately my visa to the spiritual world will be ready. Right? So that was the realization which he got. So many times when we waste our time criticizing and blaming others, we need to understand all these people who may be apparently looking like a cause of my suffering are only instrument of my suffering. They are only instrument through which Krishna is giving my suffering to me. Right? Instrument of my karma, we can say. They are instrument of my karma, but they are not cause of my sufferings. So this was the realization which he got. So on this auspicious day when there is a yajna is going outside, right? And all of you are sitting here to learn about Gita. And obviously I am very junior here. There are so many senior devotees in our temple. And many of you are also might have read Gita many times. I just, whatever I have heard from my seniors, I try to speak on that. Uh, but together, when we, in the association of devotees, come and discuss, read this transcendental knowledge, then purification can happen, right? So on this day, let us take some resolutions. Some of you who are already coming regularly to the temple and already chanting, so please continue and take a more shelter of the holy name. Because in this age of Kali Yuga, there is no other way to connect to the Supreme Lord than chanting His holy name. It is by we can connect with your friend through mobile, through contact number. So what is the contact number to connect with the Supreme Lord? That is His holy name, right? Chanting the names of the Lord. Nama Sankirtana sadhan pai sope jaltila pape janmantariche. Tukaram Maharaj says, this is easiest way to connect with the Supreme Lord and clear all our old impious activities, right? So therefore, please take shelter of the holy name. Spend some time. Maybe if you are out of 24 hours, those who are not at all chanting, maybe you can start with 2 rounds daily. It will take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? 15, 20 minutes a day. It's not much time, but it can change our life. It can surely bring a big impact in your life. And spend some time. Maybe you don't have to make so many rules in chanting or reading Bhagavad Gita, maybe 5 minutes a day. While traveling, you can keep this book in your bag. And while traveling, whenever you find some time, free time, the station is about to come and I got a space, let me just read. One of our brahmachari in our temple, he read entire Gita, entire Srimad Bhagavatam, standing from here to Mira Road and returning like that. He used to travel every Friday. So in that traveling only, he read entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Because you don't get space to sit. So he used to stand and read like this. And what was his inspiration? He saw some of the people reading newspaper, standing like this and they are turning the newspaper reading. So these people have so much attachment to read newspaper. Why can't I read Srimad Bhagavatam? So that way he completes Srimad Bhagavatam. So no one can say we don't have time. So please spend 5 minutes if you don't have much time to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Those who don't, and those who are already chanting can take a serious commitment, and this will surely bring difference in your life. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any quick question? Yes. Mike, over here. Raghupati. Yes, you can.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Also, we would not be able to reach the 192 round. So how he used to chat and could reach that?
Okay. So I mentioned about Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. He used to chant 192 rounds. But when you chant regularly and with attention, it takes lesser time. So it would take 18 hours for him to chant, maybe less. Right? There are devotees who chant in 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, 1 round of Hare Krishna Mantra. Because our mind runs to, even for me also it takes 7 minutes and sometimes more. Because we think so many things while chanting. Right? But if there is a proper attention, if there is a taste, it may take some lesser time. But that's not what we should worry about right now. We should worry about hearing the holy name. Harinam sunne ka prayas karo bas. Right? It will purify by its own accord if we are sincere. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for us. One last question. Yeah. You can come ahead.
Hare Krishna. I have a question about being like learned people who are unaffected by happiness or distress. how can we inculcate that quality, and how to be careful that we do not become emotionless in that endeavor?
Actually, this is not how to not get affected by the happiness and distress. This is the stage which doesn't come in day or two. It needs years of sadhana and years of service to the spiritual master, right? When we get the blessings of our seniors, when they are so happy with us, right? Then that potency to imbibe the instructions of the scriptures comes. It doesn't come by our own efforts, right? So it's not easy. Even Arjuna, when Abhimanyu was died, he was killed, he was affected, right? So Shastras are not telling us to become emotionless. This is natural. But what did he do after that? Did he give up the fight and stopped, ran away from the battlefield? That is the main question. He fought, right? So to not get affected by the things around us, we'll need to do. We'll need to follow the scriptures, follow the instructions of our spiritual master. If we do it sincerely by their grace, one day we can come to the level where qualities which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, which we will see in ourselves. And this transition is very slow. It doesn't, you don't see like today you started chanting 16 rounds and maybe 192 rounds, and tomorrow you become pure, completely free from all the anxieties, all the anarthas. It will never happen. It will take time. And sometime, even after that, the things will pop up in between. The anarthas will pop up. That may happen. So this is lifelong project. Years, lives, we have accumulated so many anarthas, and it will not be vanquished in a day or two, or one lifetime also is not enough. Right? So we need efforts which are consistent, and patiently we need to continue our efforts, like chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and following 4 regulative principles. This is what is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada to begin with, and reading scriptures whenever we have time, coming in satsanga like this. This is how gradually we feel difference in ourselves. Thank you. You have question? We'll personally talk. I think there's time for Sankirtan now. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.